Welcome back to afternoon session of Thailand Focus 2016. This panel discussion will be about GMS opportunity, and let's look around and see how our friends have been doing. The first panelist, Mr. Fong Niwai, he's currently the CFO of Phnom Penh as EZ. He has more than 25 years of experience in the field of accounting and finance. And the second one, Mr. Vanhseng, Vannavong, he's Director of Financial Department, EDL-Generation Public Company. The third panelist, Mr. Tuntun, he is the CFO of First Myanmar Investment Company Limited, and he has been an Executive Director of FMI since 2009, and also holds directorship in many of the group's companies and joint ventures. He's also an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Secretary and Administrator in the UK. Mr. Vro Jung Sand, he's the CEO of Hoang Joint Stock Company, and he's joined Hoang Joint Stock Company since 2008 and has become a CEO in 2015. This panel will be moderated by Dr. Surin Maneevitjit from the Stock Exchange of Thailand. May I now invite all the panelists and the moderator on the stage to start the panel discussion, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon sessions of the GMS Opportunities for the Thailand Focus in the 10th year anniversary. I would like to begin the session by thank you everyone for participating in these sessions, and we are so honored to have 4 of the listed company from our neighboring countries, from Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam to join us for these sessions. I would like to start the seminars by dividing into the 2 main questions. The first one is, would like to start with what would be the business overall of all of these 4 listed companies, and what would be the key factor that make your company so successful? And then the second questions followed by what would be your future plans to make this success to be sustained in the future by which of the strategy that you may use. So without ado, I would like to start the session to start from Mr. Fong, please.
Just to click. Yes. Just click here, right? Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here. My name is Fong Niwai. I'm from Cambodia. The company Phnom Penh Special Economic Zone. Let me begin with the slide here. PPSZ or PPSP is a developer and operator of Phnom Penh SEZ in Cambodia, and presently we are the leading SEZ operator in the country. Having said that, we also the operator of SEZ nearest to the Phnom Penh city. The rest of the SEZ are actually operating in provinces or in the border of Thailand and in the border of Vietnam. PPSZ PLC or PPSP, we just got listed on 30th May 2016, which is actually 3 months ago from today onwards. We are still a very new company. And We currently accommodate global manufacturers such as Ajinomoto, Coca-Cola, Rorenton Diamond, a diamond polishing company known as Tiffany & Company, and also Maneevitjit, and Maneevitjit is also very famous in Thailand, I think, and Denso. They already set up a factory and operating in our zone right now. So at the same time, we also have manufacturers from Thailand, such as P.D.R, SVI, public listed company also, and also Thai President Food, known as Mama Noodle manufacturers. And over the right side here, you can see that from the past during the past 10 years, from 2006 when we first incorporated, we registered as a PPSZ. We got the SEZ license issued by the Ministry of Commerce in 2006. And then thereafter, we started operations. 2 years later, we only have the first customer coming in to operate in our zone in the PPSZ. And in 2010, we actually received and obtained the certification of ISO. Oh, by the way, I haven't explained. PPSZ is actually something like the industrial zone that is operating in Thailand as well, something like that, like Amata, Himaraj, but we are smaller scale. And in 2011, we actually started the run through and restructuring exercise. This is where I first came in to the company, look into the company asset and liability. So we have some acquisition, buying over a company with a huge land bank. And during that year, we increased our land size from 141 hectare to approximately 356 hectare. And after that, in the next year, this was actually the year that our company started to grow, and we have a lot of sales inquiry coming in. And this was also the year we first got Maneevitjit came in. We have Maneevitjit signing with us and Sumi Wiring, car wiring system, coming to our zone. And in the 2013, we also have the US company coming in, Laurendon Diamond, and also Yohapsing. Yohapsing is a beverage company from Singapore. They are buying a big land to operate a manufacturing facility in our zone. And during 12 and 13, it was the year or so we started to revamp the company, the objective and way forward. Then we considered to go for a listing exercise. We were preparing the exercise during these 2 years. So during year 14, we purchased, through the operation of the company, we generate some cash. We purchased a new land bank, about 53 hectare of land nearby the Thai border called Poi Pet during year 14. And year 2015, we successfully secured also a big land sales from Cambodia Beverage Company. This is actually a company established, set up by the Coca-Cola. They established this company in Cambodia. They also bought a huge land in our zone to operate a factory. And we also have a Thaisun Vietnam company. And also, a year before, we also have Vannavong, also they're buying a land inside our zone. So you can see the last 10 years, this is slowly how we grow our customer. And from there, we also learn as a SEZ operator, we know how to minimize operating costs from construction industrial land, from the year 1 to the year 10. And during 2016, which is this year, on 30th May, we got listed on the Cambodia Stock Exchange. And having said that, we are actually the first privately owned, Cambodian-owned company listed on the stock exchange. We have actually, to date, we have 4 companies listed on the CXX, but the other 2, actually, the first and the third, are the state-owned company, and the second is actually the foreign-owned company, the Taiwanese-owned factory, garment factory. And the same year, this year, Subsequent to the listing, in July, we also bought additional land for the Phoi Phet because we foresee there's a possible of a demand growth in the Thai border for the industrial zone. So we buy another 13 hectares. So let me share with you the success of the past 10 years of what we are doing. So the investment law in Cambodia actually does not discriminate the foreign investor except for the land ownership, which means to say the foreigner cannot own a freehold land. The Cambodian, of course, they own a freehold land. But foreigners, the foreign company, they can own the lands under the leasehold status. So it's like a 50 years lease and renewable. So for that matter, that also encourage the foreign investor to invest in Cambodia. So this land title is actually a bankable land title. It's under leasehold status. And the other main factors is Cambodia is a dollarized country. So we are operating in US dollar. Of course, we also have Khmer Rouge, but the main dominant currency is in US dollar. And also, this is the best part of the Cambodia, is there's also no restriction in terms of remittance. So that's kind of like an incentive for repatriation of funds, you know. All foreign manufacturers operating in PPSZ, whether they are export or for domestic productions, they are all 100% foreign-owned company in our zone. Cambodia is, you can see the location map, is in the middle of the so-called South Economic Corridors. You see way to the left is Thailand, Bangkok, and on the way from Bangkok to the Thai border, you can actually see the Phoi Phet. And from Phoi Phet, now we already have a SEZ land, and we have already obtained the SEZ license. And from Phoi Phet to Cambodia, to the middle, the Phnom Penh city, we actually have the PPSZ operating there. And from PPSZ, the capital city of Cambodia, go forward, then you can actually reach the Phoi Phet, the Vietnam border, Bavat, and from there you can go to Ho Chi Minh City. You know, this is actually strategically located in the middle of the country and on the map. And we also enjoy this GSP called Generalized System of Preference for those companies operating in PPSZ, meaning to say this is a tax incentive given by the Japan government for manufactured goods export to Japan. You know, it's all tax-free. So the other plus point is Cambodia is actually relatively a very young country. Average age in the statistic is around 30 to 36 years old. After the civil war, and now we can see the population of the Cambodia is very young. This is also a plus point. So there's a lot of young labor force. And this is also one of the plus point that the foreign investor choosing Cambodia as an investment location because of that also. This is what I continuously saying, that strategic location as a supporting hub. Now, Cambodia, we actually serve as a supporting hub, as like a Thailand plus one, you know. What do I mean is that we find that a few factories and manufacturers, global manufacturers from Thailand, they're actually but they're actually owned by Japanese or other country, but they're operating in Thailand. They're also now setting up a new factory in Cambodia. And this factory in Cambodia is mainly labor-intensive oriented, you know. So they need a lot of labor force to do the production. So they set up this operation in Cambodia, and they shift back to using the logistic of Thailand, you know, from Cambodia. They shift it back from Cambodia to Thailand. So in a way, many of the production facilities now set up in PPSZ. We are just serve as a supporting hub to the main production center in Thailand. So to that sense, you can see we can play a lot of strategic location and in terms of operation in the middle of Southeast Asia. And also we cater from the facts from the investor. So they say, why you choose Cambodia? Yeah, simply as a supporting hub of the productions or commercial facility from Thailand, and cheaper and a young labor force and the cost structure in Cambodia. We know that there is also a minimum wage coming up, but still relatively lower if you compare in the Southeast Asia market. So improvement in infrastructure and logistics now in Cambodia. You can now gradually see Cambodia government working with the Japanese government and also China. They are helping the Cambodia government to rebuild the road. The infrastructure, the road network is now getting better and better in the last 5 years. So we will continue to see this trend. This is another plus point also. And the last but not least, you can see the tax incentive. The royal government of Cambodia actually giving a lot of tax incentive to operators, to foreign investors, that you set up a company, they give you a QIP, the qualifying investment project status to your company, you can enjoy tax-free, like 7 to 9 years tax-free status. And also worth mentioning is no capital gain tax. For example, buy and sell land, transfer land, and now we have stock exchange in Cambodia, buying and selling share. At the moment, there's no such tax gazetted yet for this area, so there's no capital gain tax for that matters. And repatriation of funds is with ease. So with all these factors that helping us in the last 10 years, and that's why there's a lot of foreigners, the foreign-owned company, they are choosing Cambodia. And why us? And because PPAZ, we are the leading operator of industrial zone in the country. That makes us the success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Fong. So now we know that industrial estate is also about the similar in the flavor in terms of the key strategic, which is we are talking about location. So in terms of the PPZ, the location is very strategically located, close to the border between Thai and Cambodia. So make it very advantage in terms of location itself. And not only we have the location that is good already, so we also have the government incentive in terms of giving up the tax benefits and also the ownership of the land. Now the second question. Now the second company that we would like to explore is go to the EDL-Gen. So please welcome Kun Vanhseng.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Surin. Okay, I need to present at the EDL-Generation public company. We are the energy sector from Laos P.D.R. I would like to introduce the profile of the company that in previous, is more than 5 years ago, in the energy sector in Laos that we call the Electricity do Laos. They are the mother company and they do own the business in energy sector. In generations, in transmission, and also distribution. In 2010, the government is decided to study and to privatize and set up the Laos Stock Exchange, and decide that the EDL should be studied to list in the stock exchange. EDL-Gen has been established at that time in 2010 by spin-off the generation part. That means some Surin hydropower to set up in a new company in the name of EDL-Gen. And also after that, in 2011, we are go to list in the stock market and do first IPO at that time. Our mother company EDL is and reduce the shareholder stake to the own 25%, and 25% we sold to the public to own share. So the target of the company and will be the major company to support the local to energy demand to our country. That's our Surin dams, and that time there we have the install capacity about 387 megawatt. And after that, until now, 5 years, we have the only potential growth and very fast growing. Until now, and you see install capacity, 5 years, we have 1,131 megawatt. Is quite big amount of the install capacity, but that is not in our target. I will show in the next slide that will be how we target in the future. That for the structure, for the business model of the company, that so mainly that we operate our hydropower that we own 100% is only owned, and sells the power to our mother company EDL, and after that EDL will use in domestic, and after another excess it will be dispatched to export. The second that of EDL-Gen, we are investment in with the IPP, with the independent power producer in the name of the joint venture company to generate the power to the hydropower and sell to the foreign to export, mainly export to Thailand. Yes. And at last, about our business model is to EDL-Gen, where we provide operation and maintenance to the another IPP that we need, because we have the manpower with our company. Our company set up 5 years, but not means that the experience is 5 years, because we are the EDL before, so experience is we are more than 40 years. As for the next slide, this is show that in the previous until now that what we do in the past 5 years is almost we have the 3 times increased capital. This one is IPO in the 2011. The second time is we increased capital again in the 2012, and last time in the last year in 2015. So also in the before that, in 2014, we also issue the corporate debenture. That we issue the bond in the Thai market in baht bond. We are the first company in the foreign to issue in baht bond, and the first company of Laos to issue it outside the country. And also that guarantee that is very successful. It's oversubscribed. It's about 1.9 times. And also after that, they are guaranteed by the IFI Asia, give some awards, Asia Money. And also that we are trying to improve our performance and our insights, the company to be the ISO for environment and for the management system also. And with when we are issue the corporate debenture, we are the first company to use the outside rating agency to rate our company, and that rate is can guarantee that we can issue the debt instrument, the debenture in Thailand. So I will describe this my company profile.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Vanhseng. Thank you so much, Mr. Vanhseng, for give us a very good insight of the EDL-Gen. So now we know that like EDL-Gen, even though they're listed and be on the stock exchange for quite a few years, but if you look at the track record, the company itself has been more than 40 years and experienced a lot in terms of the hydropower and the hydro project in Laos. The third one is our very welcoming the Myanmar company, which is the FMI. So I would pass the stage to Mr. Tuntun, the CFO, please.
Thank you. FMI started in 1992. We started as a public company. And then early this year, in March 2016, we listed in the Yangon Stock Exchange as a first listing when the Yangon Stock Exchange started operating. We are a conglomerate, I would say, basically focusing on 3 areas of business. The first, financial service. Second, we will be focusing on the healthcare sector. And then third will be on the real estate. Basically, the company, today the market cap is about 470 billion chart, which is about 390 million US dollar. Let me go through more detail into each of the sector that we are in. In the financial service sector, basically our investment in the 2 entities. First is our flagship, Yuma Bank. The Yuma Bank established in 1993, and today we are standing around number 4, number 5 largest commercial bank in Myanmar. And then the second one is a Wave Money, which is a fairly new startup company. It is a mobile financial service company, which we joint venture with Thailand to operate it. And we own 49% of the joint venture. And then on the second sector, on talking about healthcare, which we own a private hospital in Yangon, which we are now working together with the Indonesian Lipo Group, Silong Hospital. So we call it as a Panlai Silong Hospital. We are looking towards expanding the hospital into the nationwide hospital chain network. Third is a real estate, which one of our main core business since inception. Currently, we have 6 projects in hand, and the real estate sector, we working together with our sister company called Yuma Strategic Holdings, listed in Singapore. Apart from our 3 core business pillars, we have other portfolio smaller investment, like we have investment in the special economic zone, development in Tilawa, Yangon area. We have investment into the tourism sector, as well as into the aviation and so forth. Basically, we are looking towards a long-term investment, and then we invest in the key strategic sector of development, as well as we also invest mainly in the people that are going to drive the organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tuntun, for briefing us the highlight of the FMI. So now, last but not least, we move on to Mr. Sun from Hoang Vietnam, to give us the answer of the first questions, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to provide some key information about our business and success factor. HAC is a company. We list our share on Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange. For the business, we have 2 core business sectors, agriculture and real estate. For the location of our business, we have business in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and Myanmar. About real estate business, in the last 10 years, we did a lot of projects in Ho Chi Minh City, but now due to the oversupply of real estate market in Vietnam, we scaled down the business in Ho Chi Minh City and now only focus in Yangon City of Myanmar. We have a large project in Yangon City with total NOI of 346,000 square meter, comprising shopping mall, office, hotel, and residential apartment. For agriculture business, we have rubber tree, oil palm, sugar cane, and some other kinds of tree. We have about 38,400 hectares of rubber trees in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, and 28,600 hectares of oil palm in Cambodia and Laos. We also have 6,000 hectares of sugar cane in Laos. Regarding beef cattle, we raise about 130,000 heads of beef cattle in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. We also raise dairy cows, about 8,000 heads in Vietnam. We also start some other kinds of trees like passion fruits in Vietnam, Laos, and also fragrant fruits. And the target market is China market. One of the basis for us to focus on agri business, because in the country of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, with the cooperation of country in the GMS region, we have opportunity to acquire land and also for the labor resources in those countries. There are young labor resources with also acceptable cost, and we think that we can continue to enjoy the benefit for the next like 20 years.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sun, for giving us the highlight of your company, which is the Hoang and Jialai Group. I think that like now in summary, we can say that like we have a very diverse in terms of the underlying asset for each of these countries. Like if you are interested in the industrial estate, so you can choose to invest in Phnom Penh, PPCZ. And if you would like to more focus on the hydropower plant, then definitely the EDL-Gen would be your answer. And if you want to like go into the very new and young and dynamic, so you might go to the Myanmar, which is have a more diverse underlying asset, which is ranging from what real estate, going to the hospitality, which is in the hospital, and then also the financial service sector, which is the Yoma Bank. However, if you want to like invest in one company, but your underlying asset is go all over the GMS, definitely the Hoang and Jialai, because even though that like they are primarily invest in the agricultural business, however, the underlying asset is come all over the GMS, as you can see that from the his presentation. So very impressive for all of these 4 companies. So the next question is in a very short timely. So I would like to ask them for like, what would be the plan for their key next success in the next future? Because now they already proven that they already success, but how then can sustain that success in the future? So we can start with Mr. Fong, please.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, the next slide that we are going to share with you is after these 10 years of operations, we are now focused to the next expansion plan, which is Phoi Phet PPAZ. We already have numbers of inquiries from the potential tenants that they want to find out more from us. What are we going to do with the Phoi Phet SEZ? And Phoi Phet, as I already showed you just now, is just located to the Thai border, and you can see that the Thai existing border is just at that point out towards the left-hand side. And this is our location here, that our new land that we acquired, the pink color. And last month, we just acquired another additional land there. So, and next to us is another SEZ currently operating called Sanko Special Economic Zone, operating by the Cambodian with a joint venture with the Japanese. And in the very near future, there is a new international border set up by the Thai government with Cambodia. So you can see that strategically we are located near to the Thai border. And the investors are very keen because, as I said just now, they want to choose Cambodia as a supporting hub and shift back their production to Thailand to continue the finishing. So, so the next focus, the future plan is we have 2 projects actually on hand. One is POIPET, and we will give priority to the POIPET development first. And you can see this is the total land size that we have and the location of the address of the project. And yeah, the other one is the development of the phase 3. And in the next slide, you can see our total project development of PPSZ, which is in the city of Phnom Penh. So our main 2 focus will be POIPET and then the phase 3. So an ongoing activity we are currently doing is the board of directors and also the senior management realized that we are now entering into our 10 years of the operations. And this is time now we are remodeling our business. And we, just to quote the name, we take reference to Thailand Amata industrial zone and Himaraj. And Amata is the best reference for us that we can learn from them. So we are structuring our income level now from a fixed land sales to other services called other income. So this is what we are doing right now. And how we do it, like we are going to increase the non-land sales portions. And over the next 5 years, we will do a gradually change in the pattern of the revenue cycle. And through utility services such as electricity supply and water supply to the tenants. And also, we also have security services. We actually have one company fully owned by our subsidiary, owned by PPSZ Co. Limited. We're actually doing security services for our own zone, but because of safe, our tenants also asking us to provide this service, and the sales is also on the rise. And we also, after the 10 years of operation, we also have a lot of experience and expertise in constructions and development of the industrial land. We also want to offer this service to our tenants, and these are also other revenue coming in for us. So, and having said that, the last one is a rental factory. So we are also building a new factory that is owned by us. We are not selling to the tenants, but we give them a short-term, like a medium-term to long-term lease, up to 15 years, So we collect the rental income. In a short view, you can see the PPSZ, the PPSP. We actually own the project of 357 hectares of land in Phnom Penh City, and 100% subsidiary of POIPET Co. Limited. And this company is a new company that we just set up, and we also have the SEZ license and the QIP, the tax exemptions, tax status free from the government. So this is our future expansions. And the last slide that I'm going to show you is how is the history of our growth, and from year 1 of operation until today. Now, PPSC net worth growth chart, before year 2009, we only have around the $9 million of the net worth. And after the restructuring, before the restructuring and from the operation, we generate the income, and it become about 11 million. And there onwards, during the year 2013, after the restructuring of exercise, and also improvement of the land sales, our net worth come up to about 19 million. And the year before the IPO, our net worth was about 27 million, and up to today, the market cap is about 41 million. And the PPSP, we actually one of the company owned by our holding company, which I did not present here, is one of the company that making profit for the group. So we are growing the land size. Apart from our PPSZ land, we also have another land in the holding company, which I did not show here. And we are, for PPSZ purpose, we have the land from the beginning of 141. After the restructuring, become 365 hectares. And the year before the listing, our land size grew up to 438. Until today, we are growing to until 451 hectares of land. So we know the land is in demand, so that's why we are buying more land bank. This is a growth history and the growth potential of PPSP. We grow our land size over the years, you can see that. And we enjoy the genetic growth. You can see from year one until today, we're actually growing ourselves from the operations. So, and in the way forward, we are also thinking to probably we can grow by acquisitions, by buying other company and perform SEZ. And in Cambodia, we have about 34 licensed SEZ, but the only active SEZ operators is less than 10, and we are the leading SEZ in the country. So there are some land potentially is strategically good for us. So we also can consider that. So growing by acquisitions, you know. So in the next sections, you can see this is total land size of our first project, which is 357 hectares. We divided into phase 1, which we already completed. Phase 2, we just completed before the listing. We have phase 2-1 and phase 2-2. This is where Maneevitjit, Vanhseng, Coca-Cola, Laurentons, they were buying the land in here. And the phase 3, which is in the white color, we're going to develop in the next 2 years onwards. And then the new baby in our group, which is the POIPET, we already have a land map planning because, as I said, we have continuous inquiry coming in right now. So that's our first focus. And at the same time, we also, because of growing land size, and we need more money to increase the land bank, we also trying the source of alternative fundings to help the company growth. So probably we are now undergoing the study for the potential for PPSP to have a dual listing or second listing in the Great Mekong region. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fong. So now we pass on to EDL-Gen to give the highlight of what would be the key strategy in the next few years for EDL-Gen to grow. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So, and after we know the company profile, this is how to achieve our business growth strategy in the future. And I need to review back in the previous what we do in 5 years. Then in the 5 years, this company can make a profitable company. That we have the profit margin is more than 50% every year. And so we pay the dividend to our shareholders in the high yield. It's quite high yield in that region, in the energy sector. Sorry. So how to find the fundraisings to expand our project or to new investment to how to growth for our equity megawatt. The company we use 2 parts for the fundraising. Is first is to the equity part that we issue the new shares, and another part that we issue the rising debt, just like the debenture bonds, and some is direct loan with the bank. So in previous, we have the issue the shares 3 times already. It's 1 time for the debenture, and we keep the ratio to balance of the company that the debt to equity ratio should be less than 1.5. And since the previous year until now, in the end of the 2015, the E ratio just only 0.3, 0.4, and until the half year this year is only rise about 0.8. It's quite low. And so we have room to issue some new bonds, new debenture to achieve some equity megawatt to be done in the next few years. Because in the hydropower project is needs more time from construction to complete. Maybe construction period is 4 years already. If we pass for the feasibility study, is some project is 10 years. So until now, we have the 1,131 megawatt, and we have the project in pipeline that we issued the debenture in the previous time, and also we issued new shares in last year. So those projects will be complete in the next 2 years, about 2018, and when that the company will be growth to 1,790 something megawatt. This is that enough with our target. Our company is not. Our strategic growth is until we have planned to the next to year 2020 that we need to meet the 2,400 megawatt. This is our first plan. And to meet that, we have the list of the project already. This project has been approved by the government, and some project is under construction, some project is under operation that we try to talk with the government to take that project or to go to be the shareholder of the project. So how to find the funding that I explained before. We are two parts. This part got equity part and the part. So this is our strategy in the future that maybe is more than is 2020 is more than that, and maybe in our strategy is about 200. More than 2,800 megawatt in the next about 10 years.
Thank you so much, Khun Vanhseng, for giving us a very bright future for the EDL-Gens, as we see that I think it's also the national agenda for Laos itself that positioning itself to be the battery of Asia. And so no doubt that we can see that there's a lots of room to grow in terms of the hydropower project in Laos. The next would be move on to Myanmar, Mr. Tuntun for the CFO in the FMI.
First, I would like to start with our immediate kickstarting project, which is a landmark development. This is a project which we jointly developed together with our affiliated sister, Human Strategy Holdings. It is a 10-acre high-end development in downtown of Yangon, which will comprise of two major parts. The first part is a renovation and adaptive conservation of an old Myanmar Railway headquarters building, which is about 120 years old. This building will be converted to be the Peninsula Yangon. And then on the back of it, you have 4 towers over there. Basically, you have 1 business hotel, 1 luxury condominium, 2 office towers, connected by a retail podium. That will be, we call it mixed-use development program. Total investment, we are looking towards 660 million investment. And then FMI is going to involve in 12% of the project. Okay. Then that will be our main on the real estate development. Then we look towards further deepening and broadening our investment into our key pillars, which first we will be strategically affiliated to Human Strategy Holdings. And in the financial service sector, currently we work together with IFC, and then Telenor, and then LIFT. LIFT is a donor trust fund program, which is to extend the credit into the agriculture sector. We'll be working together with LIFT, further extend our credit into the agriculture and rural area development of Myanmar, which a great potential of area to grow. Next step will be on the further deepening of the healthcare, which we are looking towards about $200 million investment over the next 5 years to develop our hospital change. The real estate side, just now, like we mentioned in the landmark, we have Peninsula Hong Kong Shanghai Hotels and our partner, Mitsubishi Corporation, as well as Mitsubishi Estate, IFC, and ADB in the landmark project. Basically, we are looking towards developing FMI into a Myanmar blue chip company, which Umtitled we listed in Singapore, which is our younger brother and a bigger size. And then FMI being an older brother, developing a little bit slow, and this is a time for FMI to grow further. And this year, we have first time ever crossed our turnover, the revenue, 1.1 trillion, which is about $1 billion turnover. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tuntun, for give us a very insight in terms of the diversification in the near future for the FMI. One thing that I would like to highlight is FMI also will be working with LIFT, which is give the in terms of like microfinance to deep down into the grassroots people of the Myanmar people, so that they can have a better life, and then also can access the financial service much easier. Next, we move on to Mr. Son for Hoang An Jalai to give us what would be the next plan for the conglomerate. Thank you.
About our business strategy for the future, we will focus mainly on agriculture, and for real estate sector, we will continue to develop phase 2 of the project in Yangon. For the target market of our agricultural product, we have seen that a lot of farmer and company in Thailand have been successful by selling product to China. So for the location of Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, we can enjoy such benefit and can be successful with that. In addition, we also target to develop Japan market and also Europe. For the capital demand, like other companies in Vietnam, we have used a lot of bank loan and bonds. So therefore, it's not safe for us. We have a target to increase share capital, and by doing that, we plan to restructure our business by its location, like sub-holding in Cambodia, sub-holding in Laos, and also in Myanmar. By that, we have more option to list the share on stock market to raise fund. And I understand that stock exchange of Thailand is a good choice for us to target. But in order to do that, we also foresee a lot of challenge, like legal framework. Now the legal framework in Laos, Cambodia, and Myanmar is still under development. So it's not sufficient for cross-border listing. And also some other issue like foreign exchange control, debt control, also caused difficulties for us to restructure the business. In order to overcome such issue, I think the central bank of each country or the ministry in charge of foreign investment need to open or to enhance the legal framework to support investment, listing, and also divestment. Because now they encourage investment, but for divestment, it's not easy. For the role of financial institutions or financial advisor, they should work closely with authorities to get their support and also to give suggestion for the authority to improve the legal framework. And also there should be a cooperation between the governments of country in the GMS region. By doing that, they can enhance the regulation and support the business better.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sun, for giving us the plan for the Hoang and Jelai in the near future. I think that now we come to the last part of the sessions already. So thank you everyone to participate in this forum, and thank you for of our guest speaker. I really hope that we brought you some of the outstanding company in 4 of the listed company in our neighboring countries. And we really hope that you can understand our neighboring countries more easily, and then you can also get more information in terms of that. Last but not least, we also thank you to come to the seminar, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day in Bangkok and come to see us next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this insightful session. And ladies and gentlemen, Thailand Focus 2016 has come to an end. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, Patra Securities and Bank of America Merrill Lynch, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to all of you who participate in this event. And I hope to see you all again next year. Thank you so much. สวัสดีค่ะ